Hello there, this is Richard Spirit's Guardian, and this is the Capcom Home Arcade. A gigantic joystick from Koch Media. Koch Media. This is the menu screen, and we're looking through all the games here. We've got 16 games on this device. This device, which features 2 joysticks and 12 interaction buttons, and a coin input and a start button for each player, and a button on the back to power the unit on. It is an emulation device, a expensive emulation device. It is currently £160. That's £10 per game, plus obviously a high quality joystick. But we're going to get into Street Fighter 2 Turbo here. The emulation on this device is pretty good. It had a Zangief straight in with a spinning pile driver there. Oh, lovely stuff. Yeah, had a bit of a rocky start. People complaining about Final Burn Alpha being the emulation virtual machine of choice for this console. But as of patch 1.51, or update 1.51, it is now a Capcom emulator on the device, apparently. So I've read, and I haven't actually played it with the previous version of the software. I've only played it with the Capcom update. And what can I tell you about the emulation? Well, it's pretty good. The games run pretty well. There's occasionally the dropout of the sound happens it usually happens within the first 30 seconds of playing a game, and then it doesn't happen again. I've noticed a couple of times the graphics being corrupted in this game on Zangief's stage. Weird tiles appearing all over the place. But in general, those are the only 2 issues I've seen. And the joysticks are lovely for this game, that's for sure. You press the start and coin button together, and you can go out to the menu, and then you can play a different game. So the games on here is kind of an eclectic mix of shooters and fighting games and a sports game. Some of the shooters you probably wouldn't have seen in an arcade even back in the day, and indeed I've never played this game, Pro Gear, until this console, so that's interesting. I do like this game. It's fairly scoring's fairly opaque. I don't really know what's going on with the scoring at the moment because I'm new to it, but it appears to be you can shoot stuff by holding down the fire button, and when it explodes, all the bullets in the vicinity of the thing that explodes get turned into gems of some description, and that gives you a gem counter at the bottom of the screen, currently at 54, and that can go into the thousands. And when you launch one of your smart bombs, which you have 3 of, it ticks that counter down, and that's as much as I know about the scoring. I don't know why it's beneficial to have a huge amount of gems at the bottom of the screen. It does get to a point where you get ×2 at the bottom, and then you get even bigger gems and more score. I guess it's just score based. But as you can see here, the graphics have got like a pre-rendered quality to them. The colour depth isn't all that. It's quite a scrappy looking game really, but it plays nicely, and it's got some nice audio, and it is manic. You've got lots of bullets flying around, which I like, and the bullet patterns are quite interesting to navigate, which is always a pleasure. So you've got 3 aircraft and 3 option units, and combinations of which give you different attacking options, which is lovely. So yeah, having this game on here is cool because I've not really played this game before. That's groovy, and it's the same with a couple of the other shoot 'em ups. So Eco Eco Fires, never played that before either. That one's a bit more complicated than this in terms of control. But I can see where Cave kind of developed this idea a bit further in something like Death Smiles and some of the other shooters. It's sort of similar feel. But yeah, the graphics here certainly are grainy. So you've got some filler options on the old emulator. You've got this mode, which stretches the picture slightly to fill the screen. You've got a mode which uses the original resolution of the arcade machine scaled on a 1-to-1 basis, which gives you kind of a widescreen look with a bit of a border at the top and the bottom. And you can fill the screen, you can make it fill the whole screen on a widescreen display, which is it looks a bit weird on some games, but it works with others. And that's game over. Got blasted to oblivion there. Can only make level 3 on 1 credit so far in that game, which is alright. We've got Strider here. Strider, one of my favourite games on the Mega Drive. Here's the arcade machine. I might do a comparison of the arcade version and the Mega Drive version of Strider. This version of the arcade game has broken audio. That's not the emulator's fault. That's whoever put the ROM on the emulator has picked the wrong ROM. And level 3 has the same music as level 1, which is annoying. But it's essentially, on the Mega Drive, very similar, lacking parallax scrolling, some parallax scrolling, and the graphics are slightly more colourful on the arcade machine. But the Mega Drive has the right music, so what are you going to do? Strider's greater than the sum of its parts, really. It is a weird game, and the arcade machine actually has a lot more bugs in it than the Mega Drive version. So some of the parts of the stages, such as getting on the helipads or climbing the tunnel on the third stage, are really buggy on the arcade machine. Well, in this version they are anyway. On the Mega Drive they kind of ironed out some of those bugs, which is very, very nice of them. But, as you can see, it is a platform action game. And it has kind of a backstory which was novel for the time. And when I was a nipper and this was in the arcades, it was mind-blowing. No platform game had this kind of story and expansive feel to it at the time. So this was kind of fresh, lovely and fresh, but rock hard. It was only in my local arcade for about 2 weeks before it got taken out, because I don't think anybody played it, because it was too damned difficult in terms of control, because the control is slightly odd. But hey, I love Strider, and it's on this device, so that's groovy. And we're going to quit to the menu. We've got Puzzle Fighter there, which is always a giggle. So yeah, this whole thing has been designed to play with a buddy. You have to sit quite close together, so make sure it's a good buddy. And there's Eco Fighters. Strange game, really. Eco Fighters. Yeah, so you have to sit quite close together and fight for a bit of elbow room. But it's a lovely. The joysticks are lovely. The buttons are great, and it's got a nice heft to the actual control panel thing. And it says Capcom on the top, which you either hate or don't mind. I don't think anybody loves it. So I'm in the don't mind camp. I think it looks okay. Eco Fighter's here. It's got a bit of a weird control system. You've got a central button which you hold down and it charges up your ball thing, which you can then let go and fire. And then you've got a left rotation button and a right rotation button, which rotates the stick that's poking out the front of your, I suppose, spaceship. It rotates it around your spaceship, left or right. You've got different pods you can pick up, so yeah, I've got a homing ability now on my secondary fire or primary fire. I don't know, is it secondary or primary? I suppose it's primary. It happens when you just hold the button down. Collecting the crystals powers you up, RPG style. You can increase the effectiveness of your weapon on a stick by collecting the same pod over and over again, and you've got some massive bosses. This game's actually, I'm making it look harder than it is. It's not that difficult, and it's pretty good looking, and it's a bit of a novelty. Like I said, I've never seen this before until this console. Never played it, and I thought it was pretty cool. The other shooters I've got on here, 1944. I never played that one until this console, and didn't like that one so much. Gigawing though, I had played on the Dreamcast quite extensively. I've never been very good at it, but Gigawing's on here, and it's the same as you remember it on the Dreamcast. So yeah, Eco Fighters has got this kind of eco theme, and like Darius, it's got giant mechanical fish in it, but you've got a weird rotating kind of magic wand thing that blows people and turtles away. So yeah, nice production values, decent music. I quite like the thing where you do the comic strip you get on the game over. That's quite groovy. Nothing super exciting going on here, I suppose. Looks like a bit of an average shooter, and then boom, on comes a fish made of steel. Weird. Yeah, so I think that's all hand drawn as well, which is quite nice. I do like the old hand drawn artwork on 2D shooters. Not so much of the 3D stuff on Pro Gear for me, thank you. But this 2D look is very pleasant. Yes, that's Eco Fighters. This game is fairly tough. It's one of those ones where you need to be aware of when the enemies come on, or where they come on from, to effectively dispose of them. Well, this little comic strip thing is groovy. Randomly, a girl in a bikini. But anyway, there you go. That's Eco Fighters. What are we playing next? So for 160 quid currently, I purchased mine for 200 quid when it first came out, and I didn't play it because I didn't have room to get it out and kind of play it. And then I read recently that they've updated the firmware, and I thought, well, I'll give that a crack. So I've broken it out, and now I'm reviewing it. And now we're going to play Darkstalkers. I think it's probably worth 100 quid. I think 160 quid is maybe a bit too much. Like I said, you do get 16 games only on here. They could do with a few more sort of classic platform, Capcom platformers, I think. That would make my day. Darkstalkers here is a weird game. This is the first Darkstalkers game, and I'm so used to Vampire Saviour and all the special moves in that I find this game incredibly difficult. I can't do any of the special moves because they're all different to Vampire Saviour, which is unfortunate. The animation's still sweet, and it plays very well, but I'm going to have to learn this game from scratch to be anywhere near effective at it. And I wish they would have just put Vampire Saviour on here instead. Even though I do have that on the Saturn, it is a slightly more expensive game with a bigger roster, and they could have easily just bundled the ROM on here, but they didn't, so poo to them. Koch Media. Hopefully, because it's got Wi-Fi enabled shenanigans, they'll release some new games. Things like, I'd love to play Black Tiger on here. Ghosts and Goblins. That'd be great. Three Wonders. How about that one? Hey, how about a bit of Three Wonders? Yeah, that'd be nice, wouldn't it? UN Squadron or Carrier Air Wing. That'd be great too. I don't know if I'd pay for the extra games, but I'd certainly like to play some on here. So in terms of value for money, what you do get is you get a plush joystick, which you can now mod to work with Wii, and I believe PC or Xbox. Wii? Do I mean Switch? Might mean Switch. But there's a board you can buy, which you can mod the stick with, so you can use it on your other devices, which is nice, considering all the sticks are Sanwa parts, which is apparently a high quality provider of arcade hardware. See, that's what you're paying your premium for. And also you've got Aliens vs Predator on here, which is the first time this has been officially available for the home, although you will have played it on MAME at some point, probably in the last 20 years. But that doesn't stop it being a super fun side-scrolling beat-em-up with incredible amounts of sprites on the screen for you to laser and hammer your way through. It's a very enjoyable game, this. It's a shame it never came out on the Saturn or the PlayStation. But hey, you can get it on the Capcom arcade stick officially, or MAME it if you don't want to spend 200 quid on an arcade stick, or as it is 160 at the moment. So anyway, as a device, it's a lovely thing to use. It does look like the Capcom logo, so you either hate that or, like I said, don't mind it. I don't mind it. I've enjoyed my time with this immensely, and having Ghouls and Ghosts on here and Final Fight, which are two of my favourite Capcom games of all time, is awesome. And then you've got all the other stuff as well, like Strider, which is awesome, and Aliens vs Predator, which is great. And you've got Captain Commando. Got a couple of Cyberbots games. I've never been a massive fan of the Cyberbots one-on-one fighting, but the side-scrolling beat 'em up is pretty good. Like I say, Puzzle Fighter is a Stone Cold classic. 1944, not really enjoying that game. And the other game that's not so much fun is the Mega Man game. It's a good looking game, but it's basically the boss fights from the Mega Man games as an arcade machine, Tempe chomping arcade machine, and it's in common with the home console game, rock frickin' hard, and you still can't duck it. So I found that game really annoying, to be fair. I don't ever want to play it again. 1944 I might give another go. But yeah, the Mega Man game can sod off. So the only other game on here which is contentious for me is the Capcom Sports Jam game. And whilst it is lovely visually, and it's quite fun when you're playing against somebody else, when you're playing against the computer, it's maddening, because the computer has never missed turned on. So it will kick your ass every single time until you get really good at it. Especially the tennis game. I find the tennis game almost impossible to win a point on. The soccer game, I have won a few matches on this, and the basketball game, they will just dunk you into oblivion. But against another human opponent, this could be quite fun. Like I said, the soccer game's like a five-a-side soccer game, and it can be quite entertaining. Although on this video, I get my arse handed to me on round one by an unforgiving and uncaring computer who will score every time it shoots at the goal, more or less. You've got three buttons here. You've got like a pass, you've got a shoot, and you've got like a chip. And the computer will just keep knocking it into the corner, and we'll win this game about 20-0, which is unfortunate for me. It's quite a nice goal there. I will congratulate myself for that. This is fun. This game is fun. The characters do have a bit of an odd look to them, and it's obviously your taste whether it isn't. I quite like the cartoon stylings. It's quite nice. Never played this before, this joystick. So another sort of, I don't know, in my head, I don't really want to call it a gem, but it's another Capcom game which I've never played, and now I own a copy of it, so to speak. Yeah, there's loads of Capcom games I'd love to see on this device. Far East of Eden would have been groovy. If only they could get the license for Cadillacs and Dinosaurs, that'd be cool. Punisher would be groovy. Other stuff we got from Capcom. Tiger Road, that'd be nice. There's loads of Capcom games which would be cool. Even something like 1942 would be good. Any of those games, just get them on here. That's what I say. Mercs. Well, I don't know how Mercs necessarily work. But, yeah. There's loads of fighting games and shooters that could be on here. And let's hope they dump some more ROMs on us at some point in the future. Because apparently there's like 4 gigs of memory in this thing. And these ROMs nowhere near fill 4 gigs. So, yeah, let's see. So, do I recommend this device? I do recommend this device if you've got more money than sense, I suppose. If you've got MAME with a decent arcade stick, it's going to be similar, but you're not going to have that smug feeling of owning an official device, like I've got right now. But I do like it. I can't deny that I like this. I like this mini console. Not that it's a mini console, it's a massive joystick. But I do like it, and I do like the selection of games in general. And if it was £100, I'd have no hesitation in recommending it. £160 is a bit much. When you think about the PC Engine Mini is £100, if they reduce the price of this slightly, or they had a roadmap for when new games were coming, you could see it as a bit more of an investment. But yeah, it's a very cool thing, just a bit expensive. You can see here that the computer's doing a thing where my shots always miss and their shots always go in the basket, which is infuriating on this game. Oh no, he's followed up. There we go. Right then, let's try and do a dunk here. Lovely stuff. So yeah, this isn't necessarily NBA Jam, but it's a fun little game. See, 3 Wonders would have worked quite nicely here, because this is like a 3-in-1, and you could have had the 3 Wonders 3-in-1. Tell you a game that I'd love to have had on this joystick. I'd like to have had the arcade version of Forgotten Worlds. I don't know how they would have mapped the controls, because I think the arcade had a dial on it. But that is one of the best looking Capcom games ever, and I loved it in the arcade. The Mega Drive version is good, but it's not a patch on the arcade machine. There's a few other games as well, like Lead Storm? Was the one where you have the car and then it changes into the spaceship? Sort of a vertically scrolling shooter. That'd have been cool. Final Fight there, lovely stuff. Mega Man, Power Battle, yeah, don't like you. Yeah, there was loads of stuff in the 80s and early 90s. I used to play Capcom games. There was one where you're driving like a car around it might be called Jailbreak or something, but you were driving a car around sort of rescuing people from the street, like prisoners that got out of jail. Am I remembering that right? That was a Capcom game, wasn't it? Anyway, I'd love to have seen some of that stuff on here. Oh, we're in the option screen. There's your display options. You've got a bezel. You can put a graphic in the bezel if you really want to, although as with all other consoles, those bezel pictures are freaking horrible. You can have remix music for the game selection. I like the original note, so that's groovy. You've got Wi-Fi at the top there. I've got 3 bars at the moment. You can change this thing. I don't know what this does. And oh yes, the system will record record all your high scores, but there's no save states. One thing you can do on each game, you can go into the game settings and change the dip switches, so that's cool. Right, well that's the Capcom Home Arcade. I'm just going to have a quick play of Gigawing, and going to call it a day. So, ta-ra!
Okay.